I'm just going to introduce and talk about,
We will be starting here shortly.
Not that I ever see you in our neighborhood. Do you ever go to anything? Not you.
yeah. Okay, we're not ready to start. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Northport United Tour. And this is a special event with the league parents, players, and league organizations. My name is Carmine Miranda, and I'm with Northport Forward, a civic nonprofit here in Northport. Northport Forward is proud to be sponsoring these Northport United Tours. I'd like to thank the baseball, soccer, girls soccer, and football organizations for providing opportunities to develop individual skills, things like socialization, fitness, and sportsmanship, which support the physical, mental, and emotional development of youth players here in Northport. I'd also like to thank the parents for enrolling their children in these organizations and supporting them along the way. Thank you. I want to give a big shout out to Boca Lupa Pizza and Restaurant for being a great community partner and for giving back to the Northport community. We thank them for their wonderful donation of their delicious pizza. If you can, they have 3 locations, 1 in Port Charlotte and 2 in Northport. Check them out. They have great pizza, I'm sure, as you can testify. I'd like to take a moment to introduce the Northport Forward team that's here tonight. We have our chairman, Walter Pulowski. We have our treasurer, Jean Osborne, by the desk by the door. We have board member Ginger Miranda, who does our social media. And we have Lance Pro, board member, who does our printed material. Okay, so what does Northport Forward do? Well, bringing the community together to have a face-to-face dialogue enables all of us to work together and to arrive at some common ground. Having a voice in the city government is our civic right. Also, being informed and being civil towards one another is good social etiquette. These meetings provide you the opportunity to receive an answer to the questions that you have directly from our city manager, his directors of the staff, and also the commissioners that are here. I'd like to just mention, we have elected officials. We have Barbara Langdon, right there in the right. We have Debbie McDowell. And we have Mayor Alice White. And Vice Mayor Phil Stokes. We may not always agree, but finding common ground is very important. And as you can see, with the way the world is, the way the United States are today, we have to start working together. It's very important. It's very key. Northport just celebrated its 65th anniversary as a city. This is a very important year for our city. We are experiencing tremendous growth and must plan ahead for this growth while maintaining what we already have. Along with the elections in November, the city charter referendum will be on the ballot. That's November 5th. Northport is the only municipality out of 411 that cannot borrow money without going for public approval. Let that sink in for a moment. The only ones out of 411. Think of it this way. What if you could not get a mortgage to buy a home? Really, what would you do? You just keep saving, and kicking the can down the road, like many of the projects that have come up and have been kicked down the can, which is Price Boulevard, Long Middle Springs. You don't have the money, you have to rely on the backs of the taxpayers, and that's not what you want to do. There's other monies out there, the other streams of income. Financial planning 101, you work towards retirement, you're looking at different streams of income. We have 94,000 residents living in Northport today. It's very important that we hear from all of the 94,000, or as many that we possibly can. We don't have that luxury a lot of times. You know, it's important to exercise your civic right. We have some voting forms to sign up if you're not a voter already. But it's, getting informed, voicing your thoughts, ideas, and concerns through dialogue is, and through your voice, or through your vote, is your civic responsibility. I'm going to leave you with a saying here that I think when we all come together, we can achieve great things in this city. And that is, there is no powerful change greater than a community discovering what it cares about. So with that, I would like to introduce our city manager, who will take you through a wonderful presentation and then open it up to questions and answers so that you can get your thoughts, comments, and ideas heard. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. It's great to see you all. We do have a lot of good information to share with you tonight. We do know that the pizza will only keep the kids quiet for so long, so we're going to try to get through this before they get restless. I also want to thank Mr. John Rawling from WKDW 97.5 for being here and videoing this opportunity as well. We appreciate the exposure. As Carmine said, we share the same passion at Northport Forward. We are here to provide facts, information. What you do with that information is up to you, but we want to make sure that you have the right information to make the right choices that you select. We cannot tell you how to make your choices. So this is your leadership team at the City of Northport. Myself, Mr. Yarbrough is our Deputy City Manager, as well as Louis Belia, our Assistant City Manager. And combined, we have 100 years of experience together. And there's not many leadership teams in this area that can say that. And we think that you should be very proud of these three individuals, and also there's 2 certified managers in the group as well. When you see how can I help you, this is a logo that has been made by our communications team. We really do care about customer service. We have a customer service division. They are very proud and work very hard to make sure that they get you the right information from the right places. And it shows our commitment to making sure that we hear our community. This is a very new slide, but we thought it was important to show you some of the qualifications that your city departments achieve. When you see the communications division getting a certificate of excellence from the Florida Municipal Communicators Association, these are the pride and joy moments that we think that you may not be aware of, but we are always striving to get more. The Fire and Rescue Department Commission on Accreditation of Ambulance Services and Fire Accreditation pending. Parks and Rec Department Commission for Accreditation of Parks and Recreation Agencies, CAPRA, National Recreation and Park Association, the Police Department, Triple Excellent.
Quadruple.
Yeah.
We just got,
Quadruple excellent accredited. Sorry about that, sir. Right. Department of Public Works, American Public Works Association certified, and Utilities ISO 55001 asset management standards pending. These are some of the accomplishments of the people who lead your city. Some of you have been here for a little bit of time, some of you a longer bit of time. This right here shows the growth of Northport as it actually happened. You can see the year on the bottom and the population and actually where it began. The west side of the city is no surprise to anyone, as we still are now building out the east side of the city. When you look at some of the development and the permits and things that are being pulled for building, a lot of that is happening out east. A lot of people think that it is in Welland Park, and Welland Park is doing a great job out there. They are wonderful partners of ours. But to develop the city in the way that we're growing, and we want to grow responsibly by making sure that we take care of the environment and wildlife, you will see that it's still going to leave a lot of area over to the east side of the city to develop. Northport is 104 square miles. There is a lot of land to cover. We do know and recognize that at one point Northport was the affordable housing cradle of the county, and nowadays not too much of anything is what people call affordable. But we have areas of growth that we are very proud of. And when you think about it, when you look at the east side of the city and the development still to come there, that area over there is just as big as the Welland Park area as well. So there are areas of growth opportunities for the Welland Park area as well as Lakes Northport, and we look forward to developing as much as we can within the responsible limits that we're allowed. You heard earlier that we are the only one of 411 municipalities in the state that cannot borrow money. This has worked for us for quite some time. We've been able to pay as we go. We've been able to use surtax as a method of actual payments as well for larger scale projects. But now, when the city is celebrating its 65th birthday, you are seeing items of a large scale infrastructure nature that now have to go out for a different funding mechanism. Non-sustainable, expensive due to rising costs, puts burden on current residents. Why would we not want to do something that makes everyone pay their fair share? So when you use borrowing authority, the people who come in after you have gotten here are also helping you to repay back what we're trying to improve for the city. That's how you spread the costs around. What we don't want to do is lead to projects to be delayed. We talk about the roads that we have, the bridges that we have, water control structure, all of them are coming to a point where we have to be able to replace them and repair them. And if we don't get that right, the city is going to be in trouble. So with the ability to borrow, what can we do? The roads, bridges, and facilities that we can repair means that it will not put all the burden on our current taxpayers. And there's two ways to do that. One is the borrowing, the other one is to increase your commercial footprint. Right now, as a city, we're about 8% built out in commercial development. We're looking to be 18 to 25%, which is what is normal for a city of our size, with 90,000 people and growing, and we will be at 100,000 people sooner rather than later. We need to make sure that we have the commercial footprint to support our city. It's not a complicated formula. It is one that is hard to do because based on where we are, a lot of businesses, they want to come with their clusters of people. Our people are spread out. We're very spread out. Within 104 square miles, 90,000 people, it's hard to find some of that right cluster to bring some of those businesses that you would say, well, why don't we have this or why don't we have that? But our team is dedicated to making sure that we continue to try so that we can get that here in our city. So on November 5th, when you vote, we're asking you to make sure that you look at our charter referendum so we can get the work done. When you go to our website, if you would please go to our website, you will see that this has a lot of factual information that is out there for you as a citizen. You are important to what happens on November the 5th. If we do not get borrowing authority in the most transparent and direct way, we are going to have to figure out other ways to take care of our cities and our bridges. And none of us want to go through alternate routes. Everyone around us has the ability to borrow. We're not asking you for anything that is out of this world, and we've actually put restrictions on it. And it actually should give you a level of comfort of what we're presenting today and telling you over the next 4 months as to why we're trying to get to our destination. So municipal borrowing is like a personal mortgage. If you think about it based on yourself, it's based on a credit rating. Your costs are spread out for many years. It requires city commission approval, public processing, debt management policy, and independent financial advice. General obligation bonds, which are paid through property taxes, they're the most common bond that you might think of. Those still have to go through voter referendum. That is a state law. There is nowhere or no one trying to get around that. And I use that as an example when people hear about the police headquarters that we're trying to build, that we are going to build. There's no way to get around that, to get it done without coming through you as the public. And you should want that for large-scale projects. That's exactly what everyone else does. What we're saying is we want to be able to borrow on a smaller scale in order to keep up with the day-to-day. So in order to do that, we are asking voters to amend the charter and for there to be rules for only public safety and health up to $15 million per project, as well as to respond to a declared emergency or natural disaster. We do have the second meeting of that potential ballot information on July 23rd at 10 a.m. So if you need to be there, if you need to tune in or catch more information, please do so that you can hear the future of what the decision makers have decided. We do have a Price Boulevard widening open house. That was a project when I first got here that I believe was in the works for many years, and for different reasons, it had not been successful. Now, based on the voter referendum that passed in November of 2022, we are having an open house on July 20th. We will start moving dirt in the fall. This is happening. It is coming before us. And I know that a lot of people have been here a lot longer than I have, so this is a long time in the making. But what we have tried to do is make sure that we tackle our legacy projects and problems. We have not kicked the can down the road, and we want to make sure that we leave the city in a better place than we found it. These individuals are very important. They are part of our development services department, but they are the natural resources division. So no time in our history have we had a team dedicated to making sure that we are responsible and accountable for the balance between the growth that I mentioned earlier and the natural resources, the wildlife, that we want to make sure preserves the character of this city. This city has a history of not communicating and not sort of putting its money where its mouth is as much as it should. And you are seeing a change in that now. You're seeing us actually bring specialists, people who are subject matter experts to the table so that they can actually help us make sure that this city is growing in a responsible and correct manner. You may have heard that there's a hospital or two coming our way. So HCA is already moving ground over in Welland Park. They were the first ones. S&H has 2 locations that they are working on. One is in Welland Park and the other one is going to be at the Sumter I-75 interchange. They have committed to building both of those simultaneously. So we are still looking forward to them as they get their paperwork finalized, and they should be in their construction mode in the very near future. We're also getting a healthcare behavioral hospital, which is great. We're also working with the school board and the school superintendent so that we can have more workforce training opportunities and partnerships. We work with them on, they're trying to expand their STC campus in Northport. And so when they expand that, we want more healthcare programming so that we can then have the healthcare officials go to work in the hospitals. That's how you keep people here, you train them here, and then they live here. That's what we need to do. We need to keep the money in Northport, because the more money that we keep in Northport, the less we have to put it on the burden to the backs of our taxpayers. We want your feedback. If you want to scan this code, QR code, it will show you some questions. I think it's 3 questions that we would like for you to answer so that we can know how we're doing and what we need to do better and or differently. Everyone has an opinion. You have a right for your opinion to be heard. So we hope that you take advantage of that and let us know what you think. This will not be your only opportunity. We will be doing these sort of meet and greets throughout the rest of the year, knowing that we have a very big situation and decision to make on November the 5th. Warm Meadow Springs, for those of you who may not recognize it, still is a park, and we are here today with our league night and our Parks and Recs team, and they treat and take very good care of Warm Meadow Springs. It has not been easy for the city and Warm Meadow Springs. And I know that people, if you go out there, you see it now, and it's in a very deteriorated state, and we are now doing things that we can out there to make it better. But the long-range future of Warm Meadow Springs means it needs to have infrastructure out there. It has to be on city water. It has to get off of that well and septic. We also have to figure out what we're gonna do with the 60 acres beside it. Is it gonna be developed for economic development footprint, or will it be a passive park? There are still options that the commission has to consider, but we have to bring them back some more information. And the last information that we were requested was for the actual buildings that are there now, and how much would it cost to renovate or remove them, and make them, whatever building stays there has to be hurricane hardened, so that it can withstand another hurricane if we get another Category 5 hurricane, which we do not. So at the Aquatic Center, which is right next door, they have over 6,000 swimming lessons since opening and over 360,000 visitors to date. It is a very, very popular attraction for those people who want something to do with their small ones here in the city of Northport. If you haven't visited, please do so, but please know that it is a quality of life feature that everyone does not have. We should be grateful that we have one in our backyard. So the Northport Parks and Rec Department, I just mentioned, they've been selected as a 2024 American Academy for Park and Recreation Administration National Gold Medal Award Program finalist for excellence in Parks and Recreation Management and class population 75,000 to 150,000. These awards and these selections are not done by accident. It starts with the leadership of their teams. And I can say, and we all can say that Parks and Rec has excellent leadership, and they have an excellent time and a fun time performing their job. And not everyone can say that, but our Parks and Rec team is committed to making sure that you have what you need, whether it's through your fields, through your sports, through your contacts, that if there's a problem, let us know, let's fix it. But we're not going to we just don't want to sit back and just admire a problem. We'd like to get things done. Parks and Rec recovery after Ian. We are still recovering after Ian, just so you know. And there's still about $8 million worth of projects that we have to complete. And some of those are moving forward now, including the basketball floor of this particular venue, as well as some of the police headquarters visible damage as well. So Parks and Rec staff worked over 1,500 hours immediately after the storm. This was a process, and we talked about the debris management that came from Hurricane Ian. Our teams did a good job of making sure that we were one of the cleaner cities faster than some of the other cities. There's a process for other damaged facilities and city property, floor that aren't immediately a danger to the public. Those involve FEMA, insurance inspections and assessments. That's the part where we just now got finished with the inspections and assessments, and we're looking forward to, just like I said, getting some of those items repaired as soon as possible. Some departments are even working in temporary trailers, utilities, main one, and they have been displaced for almost 2 years now. And here we are going into another hurricane season. So they're going to build a new city, but we can rest assured that we're going to get our city staff and get our community back to normal. It just takes time. So why are other projects still being completed? CIP, which usually includes non-recurring physical expenditures such as land, public structure, and equipment. We do a CIP new list every single year during the budget process. That is being finalized now. Will be voted on the commission when they get back in September. CIP plans run 5 years at a time, with some projects carrying over. So with CIP, surtax, these are some of the things that we have used to pay for projects that we've needed for so long. But when you run up into a $100 million project, you can't fit that into your budget. That's why municipalities normally use borrowing authority so that they can take care of the larger scale projects. All right, our youth leagues and organizations as well as our adult leagues. These are some of the ones that we compiled. And just to know that it's not an exhaustive list, but we are proud of you all, and we want to be partners with you all. We understand that you are giving your time as coaches, as assistants, and making sure that you know that we recognize your time is precious. You cannot be in every place at every time. So that puts a greater onus on us for you being able to be here with us tonight. Also, I know the Little League Association is celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, as well as with us with our 65th anniversary. So we congratulate them as well. So our other current projects of interest are Dallas Spike Park. We want to convert a softball to a multi-purpose field. We do know that we need more fields as our population grows, our youth population grows. We need to continue to have available opportunities for them. Narramore is in the beginning of a 3-year rejuvenation project, $100,000 per year for labor grading and resurfacing. You might have seen one or two of the fields out there closed in the last few months so that we can get that done as part of the process so that we can make sure you get the best playing surface for yourself and for our children. Our field closures, you might see that a field might be in a rest situation for a variety of reasons, inclement weather, weather repairs. But it's all done and known to make sure that you hone in on the point that we have to be safe. We have to keep everyone safe. You don't ever want to jeopardize someone's safety for any reason at any cost. And even if you don't see the work being done, and the signs are up, please stay off the field and know that something is occurring there. We want you to be on that field as much as you want to be on the field. All right, if you need a weather alert, please make sure that you download the app to your phone by searching Rain Outline. This will help you know and be connected to the information as we get it from Parks and Recs as soon as possible. We know that, we get summer showers every single year. So this is not going to be any sort of a new occurrence, but we do want to make sure that you are safe, and we will always make sure that the weather alerts are there to guide you in your decision making. All right, this is our QR code for our community unity subscription for our newsletter. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That way you get the information delivered directly to you. You don't have to worry what the city is doing, what are they up to. I haven't heard from them, or I didn't know about that. This is where we put the best information for you to just be at your fingertips so that you can stay involved with us. As I said earlier, it is our 65th anniversary, and we had said from the very beginning this is going to be one of the most important years in the history of the city, and it has not failed to deliver at all. And if we can still get through this year, through the rest of our fiscal year, into our election, and then take this city in the right direction by making sure we have the borrowing authority that we need, I think that would be a great way to celebrate the ending of our 65th anniversary. So now I will stop there, and I will see if there are questions and answers from our wonderful crowd. But yes, sir.
First, I want to thank you for bringing up the point about Parks and Rec work after Hurricane Ian. That was a Herculean effort to help us, North Northeast Soccer, get back up and running faster than just about anybody else around. And that led to our organization being voted the club of the year because of how quickly we recovered and got the kids back playing again after the hurricane. So I want to thank the city for the partnership that we have with them, and in particular for after Hurricane Ian.
Yes, sir.
My question relates to the growth on the eastern side of the city that you talked about and how that can be used to help build some of the infrastructure in the way of fields that we hope to be seeing in years to come. For example, the pretty significant development that either has already been approved or will be approved at the end of Tropicare along Toledo Blade. What is the city doing, if anything, to ask the developers of those properties, of those rather large projects, to either set aside land or create some space for athletic fields in that section of the city that doesn't have much in the way of athletic fields as it is right now?
And when it comes to the microphone, I'm not sure developing athletic field is something we request, but he's going to tell.
Good evening, Elena Ray. I'm the Director of Development Services. So typically we don't have any requirements in our code that says that they are required to build fields. However, working with our developers to provide amenities for our residents is one of the things that we talk about during the development review process. And one of those developers up there, the biggest one, it's called Toledo. Now it's called Star Farms. They agreed to provide an area, I want to say it's about over 20 acres for athletic fields that will be open to the public. They are going to partner with our Parks Department to provide programming to open it up for tournament play. They will have concessions, they'll have an area for food trucks. So that is a great partnership that we don't get a lot of. But we are working with our developers to provide those types of amenities. Additionally, we are in the process, we're at the very end of the process of a new Unified Land Development Code rewrite. And there are some new requirements in there for open space and publicly accessible park areas. So we are actively working to get those types of facilities. We're very excited about the allowance of public access. We're going to have a developers agreement with that developer at Toledo Blade and 75. But that's going to open up a real opportunity for our Parks Department to have additional space, soccer fields, different types of multi-use fields for additional programming on the east side. And as we do build out on the east side, we are looking at areas over there that we can build parks and dedicate land for conservation and green space and those kinds of things. So we are definitely thinking ahead and working towards ensuring that our people on the east side will have access to all of those amenities.
What's to say that you guys already put this in the budget, that this is the plan, that it doesn't get taken back? If you think about the Brave Stadium, it was in the budget proposed that the 3 parking lots in off-season would be used as multi-use fields for any youth sports.
So
That has never happened.
when it comes to a developer's agreement with someone who's building a neighborhood or a large area like Star Farms, there's a development agreement that goes in, and that's a long-term agreement, like a 20-year agreement. And both parties have to abide by that. The city won't be paying to build those fields. They won't be paying to build that park. The developer will be paying for that. There will be triggers when the development has to provide that, and if he doesn't get any more permits.
So what happened with the Brave Stadium contract?
That I can't,
Because if you go back.
I don't know anything about the Brave Stadium.
So there's 3 parking lots that in the off-season, it actually says in the budget that was proposed years ago, they were supposed to be used as multi-use fields for youth. That has never happened, ever.
You say budget, you mean the city's budget, not the Brave.
The proposed budget between the city and the county and the development group, when they proposed to build the Brave Stadium, it's a news article, you can go look it up.
Okay, we'll get.
Because, so if you think about it, the Brave Stadium was in competition with Naples. Naples lost a bid. Do you know what Naples did with that land? They built Paradise Sports Complex. Okay, now they have Brave Wolf Lodge being built. So that generated multiple millions of dollars for that place. They've also got now a summer professional soccer team playing over there. All we have is the Brave Stadium. Nothing's been expanded.
We're going to research that and see if we can find something.
If you need me to take a snippet of the news article, I can find it for you.
Can you make sure we get your contact information and then we'll put the answer online so everyone.
That's for any youth sports. I mean, you have multiple youth organizations that have turned away. It's like, people want to bring lacrosse here and rugby. There's no field space for any of these people.
That's it. Did I see another hand over here? Surely there's got to be some more questions.
That's how
Yes, ma'am.
you mentioned that 8 to 10% of land is currently developed for commercial use, and then you want to get to 18 to 25, right?
Yes, we have
8 currently, but you want to get to 18 right now. What is it so currently? Is the first, like, what is this current zoning averaging compete with that, like to where you can develop, or does that still have to be developed?
part of that ULDC rewrite that she referenced is going to allow us to get to there by changing some of the zoning. Exactly.
Right, so when the city manager talks about 8% of our, is commercial, what we mean is of the entire area of Northport, only 8% of that land
Right,
is dedicated for commercial. Doesn't mean that's what's built right now.
right.
That's the total area. So the ULBC rewrite that we are on the verge of being completed with, rezones areas and dedicates more land to commercial and industrial uses, and increases that land area percentage to a little less than 18, but we're working to get it up to a higher amount.
Just wondering what the projections were worried about it.
So that is what we're working towards right now. The ULDC rewrite is crucial to that. It's combined with a comprehensive plan amendment. We've already had first reading on that. The state just sent us back a letter saying they didn't have any comments or concerns with it. And it's going to second reading and adoption on July 23rd.
Are there any more questions? Oh,
I don't know if this was asked or answered because I'm in the back here. But the field lights outside, why can't they be left on at night? Yeah.
other than money, let's see what exactly what you said.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, so money, and more money, especially when we talk about June, July, and August. The demand charges to turn those on range around $1,000 for that month. So it would really just be cost prohibitive for us as a city to leave them on.
Although we did talk about this last week, and I think there may be a little middle ground solution there that was brought to my attention. So be on the lookout. We're gonna maybe change something in there.
I think she's asking for all night though, correct?
What do you mean, all night, like 2 o'clock in the morning, like?
No, like.
Just for this.
Yeah,
Just for night.
because they're like, there's like 9 o'clock practices or 9 o'clock games. And it gets pretty dark out there around 9 o'clock.
7 o'clock practices, the light is gone, they can't go
And-
till 8.
Adults want to play after the youth, because the youth has it from 5:30 to 9, so they usually rent it from 9 to 10.
What
when there's
time is the
lights.
middle close?
10.
Okay,
10.
yeah.
The other thing is, we are currently in the process of revising that whole process today. And over the past few days, we've been pulling a lot of records to see what that demanded charges, because it's very specific to each field. As well, it's crazy. As well as there's some other options for seasonal usage. So we're working with FPL very closely to kind of get a handle on what it is we can and can't offer. You know, a couple of years ago, they pulled back to September because it used to be closed right through to September. And we'd like to get you guys on the field as much as we can.
And when we were talking about it late last week, I see both sides. I understand it costs money in all seriousness, but we gotta figure something out because those fields, my son was out there, late and I was like, I can't even imagine if you're out there at 9 o'clock and the lights go out, it just wouldn't go well. Yes, sir.
Yes, last time I saw you, you gave us July update on when the contract for the gym will be bidded out. Do you have an update on when we can expect this gym to be open again?
Of course we did.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
We just stay. Hi, Assistant Parks and Recreation Director, by the way, Trish Sturgis. So the approval just passed last week at the commission meeting for that project to go through. So we should be usually within 60 days of that passing, we get to where they will enact. And that is going to be the entire facility here at Morgan Family Center that is under that in repair, because that was all part of the damage from the hurricane.
So 60 days, we'll know when it's going to be started?
We should be having the contractor send us a schedule within 60 days of what the repairs would be and which ones will start. They need to start with the roof here. The roof was the compromised issue that caused the damage, so it'll go through that whole construction schedule. Within 60 days, we should have a better idea.
Did they give you a hint how long they might need once they get started?
No, we haven't received the schedule yet. We just got the approval on the funding.
So I have a quick question in light of that.
Oh, wait, it'll be, to get to the bottom of the question you're asking, it's gonna be several more months before we get it open. I think that's where you were headed at. But as she said, the timetables are not specifically known, but it's gonna be several more months. Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Because I'm assuming you're talking about basketball.
The court, yes, and the other side of the building.
Because the courts and everything have been closed down, a lot of your guys' youth organizations that were based using this rental area have had to partner with the high school now. So is there any plan maybe in the future to have an integration with the high school programs? Because it's been working the last 2 years since Hurricane Ian. Northport youth basketball has migrated over to the high school cheer programs to belong in the high school because there's nothing here for us to use.
we do have cheer currently taking place and.
There's 3 cheer
And
programs
stuff,
now,
yeah.
so that's.
Yeah, so we've done our best to facilitate. For us to partner, no, we do have some interlocal agreements though with the school board, and we're always open to more of them. So we would love to hear if the school is
Just,
interested in.
the reason I say that is because the school board owns like Naramore, and, we rent it. There's other fields that before nighttime, like during summer, we could utilize if we had a good partnership with the school board. Like the middle school right here, those fields are sitting pretty by themselves.
I do agree. We do have some really good interlocal agreements already, and we would be open to more and be happy to, if you, again, you want to leave me your contact information, we will get together on some of those where you think we would be looking.
And are we partnering with Heron Creek Middle over here for?
We already do have this. For parking, we already have it.
And I know for the gym, for
Yeah.
camp, they go over.
Yeah.
That's why I asked, because
Yeah.
it'd be a great partnership if we can't get more field space to utilize our schools. So you've got Heron Creek got multiple, you've got over on the east side, Woodland has multiple field spaces. They don't have lights, but
Right. But it has space.
we have a lot of sun here anyways.
Right. For the most part. Yes, ma'am.
In regard, so you had mentioned how we are still in the process of rebuilding from Ian. Because Naramore and many parks, I mean, you drove around after Ian, you could see how many tree stumps there were with numbers on them. Like, it was insane how many trees we lost. But Naramore, was not left out from that. So all of the shade that was provided by trees in Naramore were gone. And so was our awning.
Yeah.
And our awning specifically was broken, so it's missing a piece, and so that's why just, an awning can't be repurchased, which we understand, but is there any plan for that to be replaced soon?
Yes, that again is on one of our, what we're using is a plan called a CMAR, which is a construction manager at risk. It's the best and most efficient way the city decided to deal with these Ian repairs. So we do have that. Shade is one of the big things. It's missing everywhere. And one of the bigger challenges we've had to replace. We did do a planting this year at Naramore in the front. I think we replaced 6 or 8 trees on our annual planting replan. And there will be more to come as that plan expands, working with the development services for some really big planting that's been needed since the storm.
Could you touch on maybe, because there was so much erosion that happened, the existing tree that is there, that was an established tree, has created massive tripping hazards that haven't been fixed? What's that?
Yeah, when they were
Did they?
replanting, they just
Okay.
covered all like the sod from whatever.
I'm gonna ask my Parks and Grounds manager to come up. Just talking about some roots being exposed at Naramore after the replanting.
It's that big southern oak that was in the middle of the fields between 3 and 1. It was the big shady tree. Everyone knows it.
And the only flowers, the only, well, even the one that's right outside of there, even where there's just some roots.
That one was a big southern.
Yeah, those should have been covered already. We did do some work on some of the roots and stumps, and that was covered, I believe.
I think when you guys did the laser leveling on field 1, you kind of moved some of that fill dirt over it to try to compact it down.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's gotten better, I saw it.
Yeah. So that's been done.
Okay, cool, thank you, sorry.
No,
It's close, I mean, fair. The field's close, so
No,
no,
I haven't been there in a hot second.
I haven't been since it's been finished either, so.
Oh, no.
Are there any more questions? No.
I got,
He is.
thank
You have nothing else?
and it's because Trish Sturgis is up there. So just to let you know, our Parks and Recs, they are rock stars, and for what they're up against, with the amount of growth here and the amount of parks that we have, they do a tremendous job. But Trish and I had talks about, one of the challenges we have here is we don't have enough fields, but the fields are constantly being used and they don't have time to recover, which makes it their team hard to try to get these fields to rest. One of the questions Trish and I brought up was in the future of building fields, considering AstroTurf fields. It's because of the weather and the rain, those can recover so much quicker. But the question was, I know the president of the league's not here, I don't think she was, but what was that was the discussion of looking in the future of possibly doing a couple fields that could recover.
Someone that grew up in the city that actually sold cell towers to replace all their fields with AstroTurf. It has benefits and it has downsides. So because it is super hot here, the rubber will burn. So if you've ever been to Paradise Coast during summer doing a tournament, like just a 3v3 where you play 4 25-minute games, there's massive amounts of heat exhaustion, dehydration. You cannot have your cleats on the field. Like the second the game's off, you better take them off because the plastic starts melting. And just being there all day and if there was no shade, the rubber is not the best for our environment. There is different versions that might work a little bit better, but you have to invest the money to go check out these college fields that have different AstroTurf. My uncle actually was a Parks and Rec manager for a place in California, and they spent millions. But again, what they did is they sold parts of the field as cell towers to fund the projects.
There's a dust that comes up, but that's.
It's the rubber. It's actually retardant. It's the pellets.
Yeah.
They're
That's
but they.
Yes, yeah.
Certain ones, yeah, certain ones are.
So, but you have to invest the time to go see the different types of turf. But the major one is that rubber one that burns. When you slide as a goalkeeper, you're gonna see it. You have to wear pants.
Okay. I just asked them because the school board is investing in transitioning all to AstroTurf because of reasons, and some of the county's new fields, from what I'm hearing in the future, are going AstroTurf. So that's why I was bringing up the question
So
of that.
there are some communities I've seen because I go all over the place. Weston has some ones that don't have that rubber that comes up, that don't have as much heat, that have great drainage. Actually, their fields in general have really great drainage. I saw it in the middle of a downpour. You could see the water draining. And then, what was the other one? Oh, down in Naples, North Collier has one that is not a rubber, but it's like half synthetic, half real. It's a weird combo. And that one doesn't seem to have this issues. It is not Paradise Coast though. It's a different synthetic park. And there's the rain.
Right.
Right on time.
Fields are closed.
Random citizen who I don't know, never seen.
No, sir. No, sir.
Have are you a soccer coach? Did I hear that right?
I am.
He's a rec and a comp coach.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Experience.
Yes.
Have you ever seen an undefeated soccer coach in your lifetime?
One time, for one season, one time, and stepped out. Yes, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You once retired, you move on. Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. One and done. One and done.
Thank you all for being here. We do appreciate it. We will be around if you want to ask any more questions that you didn't want to say during the microphone session. Let me turn it back over now to Walter, Mr. Carmine. But thank you, city staff. We appreciate it.
Thank you, John. Folks, thank you very much for coming out. Just as a reminder, Northport Forward is a not-for-profit organization. We are non-political. We are always looking for ways to raise money because when we have these type of events and provide water and et cetera, it costs money and we only have a very little amount of money in our coffers. So anything that you can do to help us, we would deeply appreciate that. We're also looking for help. Join our board, join one of our committees. If you're really interested, we have a website, northportforward.com. Check us out. All the events that we're putting on are on the website. And you want to- we got rain out there right now.
I'm gonna pull up my rain outline and see where we're at.
So again, be safe going home, but Jerome has one more thing he wants to add. So I also want to thank the board member, the commission, the board members for all the hard work that they do. Commissioners for showing up, coming out, and I keep telling whoever we have to stop meeting like this. And Jerome, here you go.
Thank you, Walter. My apologies. When I mentioned WKDW and John Balling earlier, I should have said 97.5. And also the fact that we are working on an agreement with them so that they can be our official broadcaster during our emergencies. So when your power goes out and then you have to pull out the AM radio.
FM.
You put the batteries, we're going to make sure that he is with us so he can broadcast and give you live information in real time. Communications and the need to make sure that you have it as much as possible was one of the big feedback items we got from the last storm. So please know that we're going to make it better this year. Thank you. Now that's it.
Thank you all.
So thanks everybody for listening in. Please get some feedback, some likes, any ideas, concepts, and talk to you guys soon. Glad you enjoyed it. Thanks again. Have a great night.